Hi, I'm Jesse with GetGophers.com. Thank you for stopping by our site. One of the biggest problems that I encounter with trapping of gophers and moles is people misidentifying which pest they are actually dealing with. It is imperative that you watch this free video to determine exactly which type of pest you're dealing with, and that will in turn lead you to purchasing the right kit for your needs. We have a great return policy, but let's face it, nobody likes ordering the wrong thing, and this free video will help you identify exactly what you need. Hi guys, so we're working on the identification of whether you have a gopher or a mole problem. And what we're looking at right here is a gopher mound. And so some of the characteristics that we want to look at to identify this as a gopher mound is the shape of the mound. So as you can see, these mounds are not perfectly round, and that is a characteristic of a gopher. It comes from the way that they construct these mounds. They are layering this dirt back and forth in a half moon or oblong shape and building it up. The other thing that we can look at here is the frequency of the mounds. Look at how many mounds we have in a close area here. This is characteristic of gophers. Your mole mounds are not going to look like this. So as you're inspecting your own property to determine what you have, if you're seeing activity like this, you can know for certain that this is gopher activity. So just as far as wanting to help you identify exactly what's working in your yard, I want you to just look at this. Look at the sheer number of mounds. This is maybe 20 or 25 square feet, and we've probably got 15 or 20 mounds in there, and this is indicative of gopher activity. Mole activity, you just will not see this kind of mounding activity in such a small proximity. So again, if you are seeing this kind of damage, these oblong shaped mounds, this number of mounds in a small area, this is gopher activity. So we've talked about what gopher damage looks like, and now we're going to show some examples of mole damage. So this is a mole mound, and if you look closely, you can see that this is coming out more in almost cloddy chunks, whereas opposed to the gopher mounds, it was very fine. We didn't see a lot of chunks in the fresher activity, because as they're creating this mound, they're pushing straight up from the bottom, and this dirt is almost volcanoing out, is kind of how I describe it. Whereas the gopher's throwing it out and engineering that mound back and forth like this, the mole is just pushing, and wherever this dirt spills out, it spills out. And that's why you'll see these pieces of grass and stuff in here, because that's actually the earth just kind of opening up as the mole pushes. So this is indicative of mole damage. So again, we're going to talk about mole damage, and this is just another example of a mole mound. I really like this. I took some still pictures before we started on this video, but this is a really good example. So if you will look at this, this whole clod was pushed out of the ground by the mole. And you will never see anything like this with gophers. So if you're seeing, again, these more chunks of earth being pushed up, and it has more of this cloddy appearance to it, that is indicative of mole damage. This is always a little bit challenging to try to show mole tunnels on a video, but I'm trying my best here. So right here, there's a raised area. And this is what is really common with moles. Sometimes you won't even see the mounds like this. A lot of times you will just see tunnels. And more often than not, sometimes you won't even see them, but you'll feel them as you're walking across the yard. It's almost like stepping on a sponge. It's very soft, spongy feeling ground, and that's indicative that you're walking on a mole tunnel. Again, not something that you're going to find with gophers. So this would be more strictly moles if you're seeing tunnels and pushes of dirt like this.